Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to No Capes, the show where we talk about creator-owned comics with creators who own comics. And joining me today is Amy White, a fellow local, and it's time to talk comics. Amy, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Hey, yeah, I'm Amy. I'm a Brisbane artist. Right now, I'm doing a webcomic series named Alien Boy. I've done some concept work for other comics and stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. What is going on with our comic? Something is going squirrely here. That's not Okay. Nope, there we go. It's back. Um, but now you've frozen. That's interesting.
Oh
And
no.
you're back. I just refreshed it. It's all good.
Awesome.
All right, that'll just get edited out before this goes up on YouTube.
Yeah,
Technology, wonderful.
the best.
Okay, so yeah, Amy and I are both Brisbane-based artists, which is really cool. It's nice to have another local on the show. I think I've only had one other Australian on the show so far,
Oh
which was
wow.
Tim McEwen, and he's down in Sydney, and he was co-founder of Supernova, actually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, and that was a really good chat with him. He was the second last episode of last season. And then I've had Michael Mulipola from New Zealand on as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that was a really good chat with him. We talked about Bitterroot.
Oh, awesome.
That's a really
Well,
good book
hopefully
if you
there's.
haven't read that one.
No, I haven't, but I'll check it
Yeah,
out.
it's really cool. It's sort of a steampunk, supernatural New
Ooh,
Orleans monster hunting end of the world story.
that's like right up my alley.
Yeah. I thought it might be. So yeah, today we're talking about Gideon Falls, and Jeff Lemire is definitely one of my favorite weird shit writers.
Oh yeah.
So I was excited to read this. I've only read up to volume one so far in prep for this episode. So if you have read further than that, chat, no spoilies. If you haven't read it at all, chat, there will be some spoilies. So maybe head off, read the comic, and come back and watch this on YouTube if you care about spoilers. There's a link to volume one. Volume one is on sale for like $4 on a Comixology right now. So good score. So do you
Definitely.
want to introduce the comic and give us a little bit of background?
Yeah, sure. So Gideon Falls is like a supernatural thriller mystery. It's in a small town called Gideon Falls. You have a priest and this guy that collects garbage, and it's all centered around this thing called a black barn. And they're trying to figure out what this barn is that suddenly appears. And it's just this whole ordeal of mystery and just strange things happening. You got murder,
Yeah,
ghosts. It's a whole thing.
yeah, like and that's exactly it. Like the almost immediately we're introduced to ghost or murderer.
Yeah,
It
yeah, you're not
still
really sure.
isn't fully clear. I'm just gonna warn you now, chat. We're gonna get straight into the semi spoilers. This is all stuff from sort of issue one, but maybe issue two. But if you care about getting spoilered, yeah, go read the comic, come back, watch the VOD. Um, yeah, the other priest before him that was supposedly dead. Just,
Yeah, Father Tom.
yeah, Father Tom turns up in his room and then runs off into the field. The black barn appears, and then suddenly the lady that welcomed him into town is in the field dead.
Yep.
We don't see the
And
murder, we
that's
just
like,
find the body. And then, like, the next day, they find Father Tom dead in the river.
hmm just jumps right into it.
Yeah. And like my feeling so far is still like we don't know whether Father Tom living did that murder or whether that was Father Tom's ghost trying to let the new guy know
hmm
because he said that whole thing, that whole quick, before he notices I'm gone.
Yeah, it was strange. It made you question everything. And
Yeah,
then it's all centered around that barn that just was there and then wasn't there.
yeah. And so, going right back to the very beginning for the chat, it focuses around. Is it? It's Tony, isn't it? This main guy. I've forgotten right now.
Um, Norton.
Norton. That's the one. Norton here is one of our two main protagonists. Um, he's hunting through the trash for bits of something.
Yeah, you don't know what yet.
Yeah, it's just specific bits of something.
Like
Um,
nails and wood.
yeah, and also the art is great. I
Oh,
think
it's fantastic.
I have to check, but I think this is the same
It was
artist that did
Andrea
Outcast.
Sorrentino. Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm just double checking that before I speak too soon. I get a lot of artists mixed up in my head, so I always have to research this.
I
Um,
know they've worked together in the past, both Andrea and Jeff. I
yeah,
think they worked on Green Arrow as well.
yes, I remember that Green Arrow run and Old Man Logan.
Mm.
Yeah. I can't see Outcast in here, but this is just Wikipedia. So it might not be, but it might just be a similar style, but it gives me big Outcast vibes. And I really like the Outcast comic. I haven't watched the show yet.
No, neither have I.
I found out about it a couple of years ago. I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. I'm not going to watch that until I've read the comic, though, because I don't know if I'm interested at all. Oh, okay, no.
Hmm.
It's Paul Azaceta is the artist for Outcast. So it's not the same, but like the amount of shadow and harsh contrast is very similar vibes.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen a lot of people compare this comic with that series.
Yeah, I really dig. And now that you've mentioned it, and I sort of looked at that, I really can click that it's the Old Man Logan and the Green Arrow style artist. I can
Hmm.
see that in this work, but I come on, Comixology, don't do it to me. There we go. Um, yeah, I still with the supernatural elements and everything, and how much contrast there is in the style. I really like the similar vibes between the two.
Yeah, I love this style and just the dark shading of the shadows with the sketches
Mm.
inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
It really kind of tells a story in itself, like there's something in the shadows.
Yeah, exactly. And like this guy obviously
And
feels unsafe about something. He's always wearing this mask.
yeah, yep, that definitely. It's funny because you see these things at the start and they all play a part. It all means something. Like you think, oh, he's just wearing a mask because he's going through garbage or something, but
Yeah, e- exactly. Like I'm super keen to sit down. I'm going to pick up the rest of the volumes this weekend and sit down and read the rest of the book, because where it ended at the end of volume one, I was just like, yeah. I was so frustrated that I didn't have the rest already, but it was good because it left it there. It left me something to look forward to. But this page in particular, I'm not sure if you've got the stream up. I love this. Yeah, with the like the fisheye lens. Yeah. Mm. I love experimenting with photographic techniques in illustration. I'm not super great at it yet. I actually, the last piece that I was trying to do that with, I sort of gave up because I was like, I just need to get this friggin' thing finished. I don't have time to. Because I was trying to replicate something that I did by accident at uni back in 2019. But while I started overthinking it, and I'm like, this is not working the way that I want. I'll be working on this for like another month or two. Let's just do this the way I usually work, and I'll do the next piece that way. Because I found I like experimenting with trying to do a faux soft focus. So you got like the really harsh outlined midground, super blurry foreground, and moderately blurry background, so that the focus is there. And I did that completely by accident on one of my assignments because we were doing photography at the same time as I was trying to just like grind out this one portrait piece that I had to do. And I looked at it and I was like, oh, that looks like that. Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, and I didn't realize that that's what I was just like trying something new, but I didn't know what I was trying. And every time I see somebody else that has experimented more with like a photographic technique in their art, I'm just like, that looks really cool. Because like not photorealism, but like photographic principles with the way that light bends and images morph and change. It's so interesting. Right? What was the? Can you drop the link for your webcomic in the chat as well? I did forget to add that to the commands. It's been one of those weeks this week, so my memory is not as fresh as I would like. Yeah, I pulled like 3 days of midnight to 2 a.m. finishes working on maps for the new show, as well as scheduling stuff for No Capes and whatnot. And my brain is just like, no, that's not nice. Don't do that to me. But I did it, right? And it's funny because I always feel like I don't have that much going on, but then I realize that I'm actually doing. Yeah, it's a lot. I'm like, I've only got one weekly show, one monthly show, and a day job. That's fine, right? And it's like, yeah, but your day job is full time, and you also have a daily art stream, and you're also drawing this and making that, and have a family. Like, you're doing a lot, dude. You need to chill. um,
Long I was actually working, and now that I'm um, working at home and for myself, it's like, wow, I've got all this time now. How did I do stuff before?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that was it. Like, I simultaneously have gotten so much more done and so much less done from working from home.
Mm.
It's like it's a weird paradox in how it feels, but it's been great. Like I love working with Ardent Roleplay and some of the opportunities that I've had, and like working with them now has gotten me some writing credits to my name, which is great. But
Oh,
yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
it's always an interesting change. Like I've never done proper work from home before, let alone working in a corporate environment. So it was a really interesting change of pace.
Mm-hmm. Good experience and stuff
Yeah,
as well.
and it's great because like they hired me knowing that I have this show every week and my own games and stuff like that, and they're like, "Yep, that's good. We can work with that." And since I work for social
Oh,
media for
that's
them, that
wonderful.
works for them. That I am out there.
Yeah, yeah. Got like a social presence.
Yeah, and I found this really interesting. How he's like cataloging and putting everything in the jars. And
Yeah,
again,
because it's
they've done the fisheye
you ask more
thing.
questions,
Yeah, exactly. They've done the fisheye thing again here, but only for the background, not on him.
but not him.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, hang on. Let me just switch to the double page spread window. There we go. Thank you again, Jordan Rasco, for your suggestion. When I was working on the new overlay for season 2, Jordan suggested that I do a couple of alternate scenes where we can have a close up of the top, middle, bottom of the page and a double page spread switch. because I didn't really have that set up last year, and I always got frustrated when we got to an amazing double page spread and Comixology wasn't working with OBS to show it properly. But now I can just switch between them. So big shout to Jordan Rasco for that advice, because a lot of people charge for that kind of consultation. But yeah, I love this scene where that they've done the fisheye lens thing on the, well, it's kind of the background, but also kind of the foreground. Like it's, yeah, it's the whole bookshelf thing is done with that, but the ground he's standing on and him are in perfect normal focus. I thought that was a really cool juxtaposition. Yeah, exactly, and it sort of gives you a feeling of how he feels that this is something massive that's only slowly starting to reveal itself. And there we go. Get rid of the guided view. That's what was doing me. Let's go back to the main page so we can see the rest of it. Here we go. And I love how it's all generally fairly muted, but like he is always more. He's not vibrant, but he doesn't have the
No,
same wash that everything around him has.
yeah, the colors in this series tell a big story. Like, just notice how he's wearing red.
Yeah,
And red in this comic means a whole thing. It's like detachment, another world. It's something. And
yeah. Like the black and red
they,
is always present when the friggin' barn shows up.
yeah, it's telling you that these two colors, they mean something, and they do that a lot with this comic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen enough of it to really get the reference, but I'm just seeing that the Black Barn was inspired a little bit by the Black Lodge from Twin Peaks.
I was gonna mention that this comic, it feels a lot like Twin Peaks, like
Yeah.
if
No,
David
as soon
Lynch.
as I read that sentence just now, I was like, yeah. I feel that. I
Yeah.
haven't seen enough of Twin Peaks to know really about the Black
Oh,
Lodge.
it's my favorite TV
Is
series.
is that the place where that room with the weird little dancing dude sitting in the and
Yes.
yeah, okay. See, I've seen those scenes, but I haven't seen anything else to get the greater context of what was going on there. So yeah,
I
I
definitely recommend it. It's
I get
wonderful.
yeah. Robin has seen it, my partner, but I just haven't gotten around to
Mhm.
watching much of it or the new version. I haven't watched that either.
Oh, it's so good. It's very bizarre. Just like this comic, it's just bizarre. And you're not introduced to him yet, but there's a character called the Laughing Man.
Is that the weirdo
And
with the
he,
crazy teeth that's always in
yeah,
shadow?
yeah, it's like the big smile.
Yeah, yeah.
So he is very much like a character called Bob in Twin Peaks, who's always smiling.
Oh, is
So
that the
there's a lot of references there.
isn't Bob the one that hides behind the bed?
Yeah.
I remember that guy. Yeah. I what I do know of Twin Peaks is mostly from Robin watching a lot of film YouTube,
Yeah.
and I've sort of absorbed it all by osmosis, and it's all really fascinating. But I just, as a result, sometimes I think I've already watched something because I've watched those analysis videos about it.
Mhm. See, but that's another thing where Twin Peaks did so many things with cinematography and colors, and it was just unique. And this comic is doing a similar thing with its paneling and its colors and its shading. It's just groundbreaking. It's incredible.
It really is. I'm can't believe I slept on it for so long. But as I was telling you before the show, it's kind of because I can somehow my brain tricked me and convinced myself that I'd already read it, and
Yeah,
so like I
I do
didn't.
that all the time.
Yeah, I didn't think I had slept on it. Um, yeah, I didn't think I'd slept on it at all, and I'm loving it. I definitely want to find out more about this and how they're connected. I was just towards the end of volume one, there was something starting to present itself, and I'm like, oh fuck, what if? What if this? What if that is this? Is this that?
Trust me, it's not what you think it is. That's what I'll say. It takes a big twist, and
Okay.
it takes you through this journey. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
I'm really keen because it's specifically about Norton. Specifically about him.
Yeah,
As something was
it's
sort of
about, oh, well,
no, the thing,
yeah,
my theory.
he's a big character.
My theory is about Norton.
He is a big character.
Um,
I'll just, oh, the things I want to say, but I don't know if I can.
yeah, there's something that the sheriff said in volume one that got me was what
Which
got me
was,
thinking. It was about the little brother and getting eaten by the
yes,
black barn, and I was just like, there are so many possibilities right now.
good old Danny.
So I'm really interested to see what the deal is there, and that's what I do
Well,
love
that's,
about a good Lemire comic, is the story takes you all kinds of places.
yeah, and they really set up a great mystery with this, and you just keep on asking questions with each page. And every time you think you've solved something, something else comes up, and it really just, your mind is, it's great.
Right? Have you read Sweet Tooth?
No.
It's one of Lemire's other indie comics, and it's really good.
Oh, I'm gonna check it out
They
then.
they just started a sequel series, like just a couple of months
Mhm.
ago, and Robert Downey Jr. is producing a movie based off it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like he liked the comic so much that he's funding a film apparently. A,
Well, I hope they capture it
oh,
well enough.
it's a Netflix film. Um,
Oh, nice.
series of 8 episodes apparently actually. Um,
That's gonna be exciting. I'll have to read the comic before I start the
no,
series.
yeah, definitely do because if it's a Netflix series, it's going to be good, but it will be different, and so
Mm.
you might miss out on some of the original story. But it's a really good like sort of a post-apocalypse story where there's like human animal hybrids. Um,
Okay.
thanks to some kind of a virus or something, and yeah, it's really interesting.
I'm gonna have to check that out later today.
Yeah, it's really solid, and of course, like Lemire's run on Animal Man and Justice League Dark were both really good. I dug those a lot.
Hmm.
Um, I haven't read a lot of his Marvel stuff. I think I've read the Hawkeye run he did and the Old Man Logan run he did. But I know I haven't read
I've
the
read
X-Men or Moon Knight run.
his I think it's one of the latest series he's done for DC, the Joker one.
Oh, I'm not sure if I've
And I
read that
liked
one.
that.
Hmm. Oh, I think I missed that one.
Yeah, I think it's fairly new.
Yeah, yeah, late last year. Yep, I'm completely missed that. I haven't been keeping up with as much of the Cape comics lately, except for a handful of characters because of all the bloody crossovers.
Yeah, I haven't really read any
I always end up
either.
waiting until the crossovers are finished and then looking up a how to read guide because
Yeah.
it's frustrating when they do them because they're so universe affecting that you'll be
Hmm.
reading if you're only reading like these 5 characters are my favorites, I'm going to read them, and then suddenly they disappear and they're off on the next big crossover, and to understand the story you have to read all of it.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but that's how they get you to buy all these comics.
It's true. It's true. And if they always say that you can just read the core title, you can never just read the core title. I tried to do that with Blackest Night. I got the graphic novel of the core title of that, and so much of the story was missing. They were just
That's annoying.
massive jumps. And I'd be like, but what? And who? How?
What's the context?
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons why I focus so much on these non superhero books, because I love my heroes. I love my Spidey. I love my Nightwing. You know, I love my Batgirls and whatnot. But
Mhm.
they're always sort of a variation on the same story. It'll
Yeah.
be a good story, but often there's only so many stories that can be told. One super duper notable exception to that right now is the Immortal Hulk.
Oh, what's
Holy
that one?
shit. Hulk turned existential body horror.
Oh,
It is so good. And the art is
okay, I'm
so
reading that.
creepy. Like, Hulk only comes out at night these days, and that's been like that for a while, but it's been more so that now with Immortal Hulk. If Banner dies, Hulk comes out. And then
Hmm.
at sun up, he turns back into Banner again. So Banner can't die because, well, more to the point, Banner is resurrected every day. Banner dies every day when he turns into the Hulk because of how brutal the transformation is now. It's not just him growing big and green, and like Hulk like mutates and explodes out of Banner.
Kind of like the Thing, how they
Yeah,
transform into other
yeah,
creatures.
yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it's like it turns out that the gamma radiation doesn't just mutate people anymore. It actually unlocks a connection to hell or some kind of other dimension. It's like a supernatural connection going on. And so all
That's
of the
such an
gamma
interesting
mutates,
take.
right? Yeah, all of the gamma mutates resurrect when they die now because they've worked this thing out. And then
Who's
it's
the
oh,
writer of this one?
I can't remember who the main writer is because there's a few one shots connected to it that other writers have been doing as well.
Yeah.
So and they're all fantastic as well. Um, Al Ewing did issues 1 to 10.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm not sure after issues 1 to 10, but it's such a good run. Everyone that is writing it is doing such a good job.
Yeah, no, I'm checking that out. I just love horror spin on things.
Yeah, and that's it. There's some really good talent taking that sort of direction with some characters right now. And like I'd kind of gotten bored of Hulk comics for a long time
Yeah.
because there was only
I think
so
the last Hulk comic I read was the lawyer series one,
mm, yeah, yeah, exactly.
the She-Hulk.
Yeah. And she's went undergone some really cool changes recently in the comics as well. Um, Bruce did die at one point, and then they did like a whole mental health and depression storyline with She-Hulk, where she was so deeply
Oh,
affected
okay.
by Bruce's death that it changed her She-Hulk persona. Like she turned went like this is when a new version of the Savage She-Hulk series started coming out, and she got big and like real solid, but she turned into Grey She-Hulk.
Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
because there's Grey Hulk, which was like the smart but really brutal one, and so we got Grey
Yeah.
She-Hulk, who was even bigger and like real Hulk proportions, not just
Oh, good.
Amazon proportions, but like real Hulk proportions, and angry, and she had green scars all over her body to
Oh, that's
juxtapose
sick.
the grey. And it was a result of her mental health and anguish and grief over Bruce's death. and everything else surrounding it.
Yeah.
And then she got, she went through therapy and stuff like that, and eventually became green again, still big. Like she got
Good.
a big, not intelligent Hulk persona. Like still a hero and everything like that, but much more aggressive and only short sentences and stuff like that. Like the main Hulk persona that we've known.
Yeah.
And refers to herself in the third person.
Yeah.
And I think recently she got, after even more therapy, um, she has regained full faculties in Hulk form, but is still jacked.
Good.
Yeah, and was hooking up with Thor for a while.
Say that enough. Oh yes, no, I have seen some of that.
Yeah,
What a power couple.
right. But yeah, like that's sort of the direction they went with that. They took it on a like a mental health spin, which was a really interesting story. I haven't read all of it,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I've read enough of it to get that general grasp of it. And yeah, I really like stories like that where they don't just
do
do
something different.
another, yeah, not just another save the world story, but
Oh
it's,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's also a, no, these are people stories.
I find the best comics are the ones that focus on the characters. Like Young Avengers, I absolutely loved that
I really
series
like
because it
that.
just focused on these kids.
I haven't read it recently, but I remember I was like really enjoying the original series of it when it first came out.
Hmm.
But I haven't read the
Yeah.
recent titles that much.
I don't think I read any of the recent ones, but when it did first die, it was absolutely just mwah, amazing.
Yeah. And I like the main reason that I sort of go on that tear about Immortal Hulk is that I would love to see Jeff do a run on Immortal Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. There's a couple of writers at the moment that I would love to see do that, and it's Jeff, Zach Thompson. I would really like to see. Um, Zach has got some really great horror out there.
Hmm.
Um, Currently, like I Breathed a Body is one. No One's Rose was a really good sci-fi he did, and Lonely Receiver was a really interesting sort of existential sci-fi mental health obsession trip. And the art for his comics is always really, really spinny, and
Ooh.
I think he would. Oh, well, he's reading it right now. Actually, I'm just having a look just to double check some of the horror comics he'd done as well as his sci-fi stuff, and he's tweeting about the latest one shot and how much he loved it.
Oh, that's so funny.
So, like, yeah, he would be perfect for it.
Yeah, that'd be great to see. I
Um,
find it's so hard to find horror comics and writers for comics. It's
well, I can tell you right now,
very much niche.
Cullen Bunn is one to watch out for. Cullen does
Hmm.
some really great horror stuff. Zach Thompson does some really great horror stuff. He did a really good one not long ago called The Replacer, and it was
Hmm.
actually like a fictional expression of his own story about dealing with a family member having a stroke and changing dramatically overnight, and depression and
So
coping and
morbid.
coming to grips with that. And it's a,
That's very real.
yeah, exactly. And it's about a little boy whose dad had a stroke and came back, and but the boy is convinced that it's a demon that has taken over his dad's body and forced him to be like that. And it gets really dark, but it's
As
really
kids would
good.
do. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
check that one out. That sounds amazing.
But as far as this one goes, here is where we're finally getting an introduction, a proper introduction to our pastor.
Yep, Father Wilfred.
Yeah, that's the one, Father Fred. And then this guy, this page instantly, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be trouble later.
Oh yes. And he is. And notice how he smiles.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, he's got that like it's a too big smile. Like it's too wide for his face.
It's very unsettling. And in this comic, it kind of does that a few times where characters are introduced and you think, oh, maybe they'll just come back as a background character. They might have some dialogue here and there, but every character plays a huge role.
Yeah. That's it. And the second he did that smile, at first like he looked like a shit, and I'm like, okay, the pastor's gonna have to deal with him causing trouble in the church, being drunk or something. But then I like that next smile. I was like, oh no, this guy's bad news. There's something wrong with this. This is not going to end well. And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't. Yeah.
No.
No, it does
No, it
not.
does not.
I still don't know his full deal yet, but I did, obviously I did get to the part where that all goes down.
Yes. And he. Have you seen the barn where he.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah.
disappears in the barn, and
Yeah.
that's.
And then, yeah, Wilfred tears off after him. And then the doors slam shut or something.
Yeah, because the last time we heard of someone going in the barn, I think it was with Danny,
Yeah.
and he never came back.
Exactly.
So you're asking, oh, where are they going? Are they not going to return?
Yep. Are they going to turn up somewhere else?
Mm-hmm. Lots of questions.
Yeah. And like this lady here, there was just something about her. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure whether she was
Yeah.
going to. Well, I wasn't expecting her to be the murder victim,
No,
but
and
I wasn't sure if she was going to end up being a helper or one of the bad guys.
I thought it was kind of like a, in Sherlock Holmes, you have, what's her name, Miss Hudson or
Oh, yeah.
something?
Yep.
And she's just like a nice little helper lady.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to be like a
But
Mrs.
yeah,
Hudson scene or setting or like Hot Fuzz.
oh yeah,
Where it turns out she's part of some kind of sinister behind the
like a
scenes
huge
thing.
cult. Oh, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah, I wasn't too sure where it was going to go. And then, yeah, this whole thing with old mate's therapist, Norton's therapist, and how she's like
Yeah,
about to get him recommitted. And then she sees it.
she sees the barn.
Ah, here he is.
And not everyone has seen it either. I think,
Yeah, Doc hasn't seen it.
I don't know. Yeah, he hasn't seen it, but he believes in it.
Yeah. The sheriff hasn't seen it, that I remember.
No, she hasn't. But she doesn't believe in it at
No.
all.
And then she sees the evidence of it, but still doesn't believe
And
in
still
it.
doesn't believe it. Yeah, it's like this whole like in small towns when they have a UFO sighting and all these people have this shared experience and urban legend, and it's very much like that with this town. Instead of a UFO, it's this barn.
Yeah, exactly. Jacob in the chat just said exactly what I was about to say. That this is an unsettling image. This image of Father Tom, like sitting on the end of the bed.
It is.
Yeah, like as soon as I got to this page, I was like, ah.
And
What?
notice the red.
Yeah, yep, the red.
It only really shows up when the barn is involved.
Yeah. And then he takes off. And then
Yep.
he's just gone.
It's really great how this comic does horror, because it's very hard to do because you can't rely on jump scares or anything.
Exactly.
But there's something to do with the art style and just the pacing that really gives you that unsettling vibe.
There have been a few comics, I can't remember which ones off the top of my head, but there's only been a handful that actually execute jump scares in the format of a comic.
Mm-hmm.
And but you've got to be really precise about it.
Immersed.
It has to be a really immersive story, and it has to be precisely the correct number of pages in to take advantage of that page turn.
Yep. And I think this comic does that very well, where you turn the page and you'll gasp in shock about
Yeah.
what's there. It's
I'm just going to switch to the double page spread again because this is a great shot of the barn. Um, it really is. Yeah.
this comic does this a lot, where they make things upside down, or they'll do panels where they twist, and that also makes it very immersive, where you have to actually turn the comic and feel like you're involved, and that plays a part in jump
Yeah.
scares as well, because you're so in it.
Exactly. I love this too. Between volume like issue 1 and issue 2, and it's got this like overhead shot of Gideon Falls, but it's like the preacher's face.
Yeah, they do that a lot, where there's an image in an image, or there's a story in an image.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with the therapist now. Now that she's seen the
Yeah,
barn,
she's a big character,
I'm looking
and you
forward
don't
to that.
expect that.
Yeah. Also, this guy here, the bald guy, he's got the red cap, and he addresses Norton so deliberately.
Hmm.
I don't know if he is anything, but it feels like there's a
He
reason.
is, and again, because of that red, you question it.
Yeah, and especially because in the next scene here, we find that his place has been busted into.
Hmm. And some things have been taken, like
Yeah, some of his
stuff
nails have been
that he's been
taken.
collecting. Did we discuss what he's collecting these for?
I don't think we got all the way there yet. We started talking about how at the start of the comic you don't know. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so spoilers again for the chat. Um, yeah, it's his pieces of the barn, and which I
And
found
it's
really
the
interesting.
question, like, why are these pieces scattered around this city?
Well, I was thinking that as well, and but then the barn just appears all the
Yeah.
time in different places and to random people. So it's like leaving behind traces of itself. And I don't know if that's where the comic goes later, but it almost feels like that's how it influences the world. Like it's got this
Yeah.
presence, and so by leaving pieces of itself behind, it leaves its influence.
Yeah, it does do that. It also leaves a square, like a dent in grass
Yes.
sometimes when it appears, like crop circles.
Mm-hmm. I saw that. That was really cool.
Yeah, so it definitely does leave pieces of it behind.
And I
And it
mean, like,
does haunt people.
yeah. And then we go, and here they find Father Tom, and he's got one of the nails.
Hmm.
Don't know if it's one of Norton's nails, but it is.
And it's a nail.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they explain that he's only been dead for a few hours, when
Right?
really they thought he'd been dead for like
Yeah.
months.
Yeah, exactly. They thought he'd drowned months ago when they found his car. Oh man, I didn't notice when I was reading it before, but the laughing man or whatever he's called here, he's missing the top half of his head.
Yep. He They explain it that he's not really a shadow, he's just the absent of light.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw when they were talking about that. Yeah. And yeah, like he's got nothing from here up.
Hmm.
But I didn't notice
He's
that
just this
before.
presence.
Yeah.
They don't really make him solid, he's just an imprint, he's there.
Yeah. Here we go. There's another one of those portraits. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here comes the sheriff to talk to Father Wilfred about what's going on. And then it was really interesting with this part here because like Norton is kind of doing what the therapist was worried about. You know, becoming a danger to himself or others around him and becoming paranoid. But also,
Hmm.
like, he's actually not. Because there is some weird otherworldly shit going on. It is real. And somebody broke into his house and stole his shit.
Hmm.
But they didn't just take anything, you know, they didn't take any of his belongings. They took
Yeah,
very
nothing
specific
valuable.
pieces of stuff relating to the Black Barn.
Hmm. And he tries to explain that, but it just makes him seem more crazy.
Yeah. But then she sees it a second time as well. And
Yeah, because the first time she sees it, she thinks it's just a shared psychosis thing.
yeah. And then she sees it again and sees, well, she actually simultaneously sees what's going on when Wilfred goes to uh, Joey and Jeanette's place. Is that their
Yeah,
names? I think.
um, something like that.
Joe, yeah, Janet. Joe and Janet.
There you go.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure who she was seeing for a second until we then moved forward to that part of the story, and I was like, oh shit, this is the exact room that the therapist was looking at. And like the barn was showing her Joe trying to murder the priest,
Yeah, I wonder if that was in real time or if she just kind of saw into the future.
right? I'm not sure, but this sequence, again, I gotta go to the double page spread again, was really cool. This was a really interesting way to do the sequentials of this. Yeah,
Panel.
they really do. I was really impressed with that. That was one of my favorite parts of this volume. Um, and it's really interesting. Like the colors and everything are so muted in this comic, but it's not a bad thing. You
No,
know, like
they know when to use the color.
yeah, they know when to bring in the vibrant colors, and for some, I'm not exactly sure why, but for some reason, this muted palette pulls you into the story,
Definitely. It's like reality. You don't realize how dull the colors are around you.
right?
And that's just what this is. It's just a representation of reality.
Yeah, and this was really cool too. I actually didn't. I was very tired when I was reading it. I didn't notice the skull in this frame when I was reading it before, and
Yeah,
the way they've executed that is really cool.
just hidden images.
Yeah, and it's like okay,
And there's
so
always things you don't notice at first. Like when I reread this, I didn't notice the older lady that met Wilfred to begin with. She had an arm missing,
yeah,
and she had the what was that hook,
yeah, and that's what
and
she
that's
was
the thing
murdered
she was
with.
actually murdered with.
Yeah, and it's like that was the thing that you sort of like I knew something dangerous was going to be around her. Um but I wasn't sure exactly what it was. Like I didn't think that she was dangerous. Like the way they portrayed it, it didn't look like they were trying to make her look dangerous because she was disabled, but they did sort of show her particular prosthesis as if it was an important part of her story.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out that yes, somebody used it to murder her. So it was like,
It all means something with
yeah,
this.
And I did like the way that they did that too, because she wasn't a bad guy or anything like that. I would have been kind of disappointed if the disabled older woman turned out to be a villain,
Yeah,
but that
it just would have been
wasn't
so
why they were drawing
cheap.
attention to it, which was a relief. I didn't think Lemire would
Yeah,
do that because of how I've read his previous work, but you know, you never know with just storytelling and people not really thinking about these things sometimes.
no. And you do see that a lot in just random horror films where they'll
Yeah,
just
exactly. And here we go. Here is the result of what the therapist was seeing.
mhm.
So it turns out like she was seeing the imminent murder of this cop.
Yeah, and it's the guy that was smiling at the bus
Yeah,
when Wilfred first came into town.
exactly. And he's got this scalpel. I'm not sure where he got that, and it like the doc says it's not one of his. And then they get into the field, and there's the big square in the grass, like in the
Yep, the crop circle.
and he's gone.
But where is he? Where did he go? What is the barn?
Right? And then here, the background of this obviously must be some of the drawings that he was doing while he was in the hospital.
Hmm. Red and black.
Oh, 1 second. I just gotta go and answer the door.
Okie dokie.
That was my dice tower. Yes.
Welcome back.
Terrible timing, but good news. That was the dice tower for tomorrow's game.
Hell yeah.
One of my sponsors created a full custom dice tower that is the spire that the game is set in.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, and so like I'm getting one for the show, and he's made one for the winning team gets one.
Oh my, I want to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to build it. Um, once we wrap up, I will actually run the video that shows it off on the channel before we sign off.
Ooh, awesome.
But yeah, we were talking about his drawings. Yeah, that's right. And here obviously is the Black Barn again, but also what appears to be a bunch of people that have been lynched.
Yeah. I didn't notice that.
Neither did I. I just noticed it now.
Then there's all these crosses as well.
Hmm. It's really interesting. I mean, you already know more about it than me, but I'm interested to find out where that ties in later. Again, more red here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't remember the red being on Doc's door
Oh,
when
you
the
know what?
priest first
Yeah,
came to
he's
visit.
got a red door.
Yeah, I don't remember that being there at the start of the comic. I'm not sure if it was. I can't remember.
Because it's so. Who has a red door? That's so bizarre.
Yeah, that's what are they trying to connect him to there?
Yeah, it's in a way it's an entrance to the answers of what the barn is.
Yeah,
Because this is what Doc kind of is. He's collecting all these newspapers that's talked about this appearance over the years.
right.
So it kind of gives a history to it.
Yeah, and then there's the whole hypnotism scene.
Which was done beautifully.
Yeah. And this scene here, this actually again brings me back to Immortal Hulk.
Yeah.
Because part of the whole story now is that there is something called the Green Door. When they
Is that like the
die,
entrance to the Hulk?
when they die, they go to the below place, and
Mm-hmm.
they come back via this green door. And the green door is like an
Okay.
entrance into and out of this hell dimension.
Well,
But then
yeah,
there is
it is like that, then, isn't
yeah,
it?
and there is also the red door.
What's the red door?
They can't come back. If
Oh,
the
so if you get the red door, you're stuffed.
yeah, if it's the red door, then it's final death.
Damn. It's like
And,
green for go,
yeah,
red for stop.
but it's a real the how that happens is really interesting.
Mm.
And so like, I find that interesting here, that there's simultaneously a green and red door.
Yeah.
Another reason why I'd love to see Jeff work on Immortal Hulk.
Because he's done the green and red door.
And well,
It's
just
a
seems like
sign.
he's played with this whole supernatural, otherworldly doorway theme. And
Yeah, from what I can tell, he'd be a great writer for it.
yeah, and then here again, here's the black barn, but the doorway is all scribbly and unstable.
Mm-hmm. Kind of
And
shows it's not part of their realm.
yeah,
It doesn't match their style.
yeah, right. Like the building might be there, but what is inside is not of this world.
Mm.
And then yeah, this is where it ended, and I was like, no.
Oh, that's all you've seen.
Yeah, this is as far as I got.
So much happens.
Oh wait, or is it? Actually, no, I got through here. Yeah, yeah. No, I think I got. Did I get up to here? Yep, I saw
Oh, where
all this.
they're building a door.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So yep, I got to.
And this is inside the barn.
Yeah, I got to here. This was the last thing I saw with when the doors slammed shut.
And it shows you a bit of Wilfred's past as well, because he has something dark in his
Yeah,
closet.
I remember hearing about that, but I hadn't gotten that far yet. I think. Actually, no. Yeah, I got to here. I saw the start of this, but I didn't see what else happened past that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. This is. I'm remembering this now.
Oh, I just love that whole sequence.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep. I remember seeing the little. Yep. They came out of the barn. And I like here how it's disintegrating into like pixels.
Yeah.
Like it was never really there.
And then they're back to their muted color palette as well.
Yeah. Oh right, and yeah, and here the bishop calls him up, and he's like, "You knew this was going on,
Yeah, it why does the bishop know? Who is he? Why did he send Wilfred to this town?
right?" Ah, yeah, there it is. Yep, yeah, I do remember. I did read all the way to the end here, where they said they're going to build the barn for what it.
Oh, also, you see the name of the city,
Yeah.
Gideon Falls.
Mm-hmm.
But the town that Wilfred is in is called Gideon Falls.
Right. Okay. I actually.
That's a big thing.
Right. I didn't notice that last. Right.
Mm-hmm. It's very subtle, like it's just tucked away in that corner.
Yeah. Okay. Shit. Now I need to
Got any
know.
theories?
No, I just no, no. Now I need to know, but I don't know when I'm going to get to read the rest of it. It's going to be burning in the back of the head until I can read the rest of it.
Oh,
Oh
you've got
boy.
to. It's one of my favorite comics I've read so far.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I think if you love this so much, you'll definitely like Zach Thompson's work. And I
Hmm.
would recommend checking out all of the horror titles that Vault Comics is putting out.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all fab. The plot is really, really, really good. I'm talking about that soon on the show with someone. Um,
Ooh.
Resonant is it's not a straight horror, but it has like a lot of dark elements.
Hmm.
It's really good. I had the creators of the plot on the show last season, and they both had really interesting things to say about some of the comics I was reading. These Savage Shores was really interesting. Fearscape I haven't read yet, but I've heard amazing things about.
Hmm.
But those are some of their main horror comics right now. There's one more. What is it? What is it? What is it? Not sure. Friendo is really good. It's not. It's more of a sci-fi, but it is a weird. It's an exploration of capitalism and commercialism.
Hmm.
It's really interesting. She Said Destroy. I keep forgetting to read and thinking I've already read it. It's a really good one with Liana Kangas on art. But anything by Vault, you're probably gonna like it if you like this.
All right, I'll trust your recommendation.
Yeah, they've put out some amazing stuff in the last couple of years, and all the creators are super nice people and really active
Awesome.
on Twitter and stuff. So, um, actually, I am in a book with one of them.
Oh, really?
Liana did a couple of pages for the Mecha book that I did a page for last year,
Hmm.
um, which is really cool. Just to see some of these creators are in the same book that I ended up in is just feels really cool.
Makes me feel proud.
Yeah. Like Simone. I'm not sure if it's Simon or Simone. I, I'm not sure with Italian names sometimes. But Simone Regazzoni from Boom Studios Power Rangers book
Yeah.
did a couple of pages for this as well, and his pages are next level. Especially like I was impressed with the black and white, but then they
Hmm.
were some of the pages
The
that
colors are great.
ended up in color in the final book because it's a really
Yeah.
interesting book. It's written by Frankie White, um, and it's like a narrative zine, so it's not all straight graphic novel. Some pages are mostly text with like some diagrams of the mechs and stuff. Some pages are
Hmm.
full sequential art, and that sort of thing. And every 1 to 2 pages is a new artist. So we all got one or
That's
two
awesome.
pages each through the book, and it's the finale to a mecha anime that never existed.
Is that the prompt?
Yeah, yeah, that's the tagline for the book, and it's really cool. I haven't read the whole thing yet. I got the PDF already from Frankie, but I'm waiting until the
Mhm.
hardcover arrives.
When will that come out?
Well, you can order the hardcover from him now. Like the Kickstarter finished last
Oh,
year, and it's already started. Like all the American backers have received their books, but the hardcover is available on his Gumroad right now, and it's actually a fundraiser for the Trevor Project.
hmm.
So the Kickstarter was, but also the sales of the book now are still raising money for the Trevor Project.
All
Uh,
right. Well,
and that is
I'll go check that out.
in the chat. So yeah, that was why I wanted to be involved with it because I was like, one, Frankie's really cool and I wanted to work with him. Two, I love mecha.
Also, it's for a good cause.
Yeah, and exactly, and like it was for a really really good cause, so I was stoked to be a part of that. Because there was
So,
some TTRPG stuff that was benefiting the Trevor Project last year, but I couldn't get involved.
mhm. So you drew a lot of like mecha stuff? Because that's very hard to do.
I don't. This is actually my first mecha stuff.
Oh wow, how'd you find it?
Tricky, but fun. I tried not to go too hardcore on their fiddly little details, but still
Hmm.
stay as true to the design of the particular mecha that was on my page as I could.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm mostly, you see like a finger and a full arm of the mecha, and then the rest is like extreme close-ups of bits of the mecha in the background and stuff, focusing on the pilot.
Oh damn, that's cool.
Um, but it was really interesting, and I am keen to see how the whole book comes together.
Yeah, I'm very keen to check that out.
One of my friends down in Melbourne has already received her poster and pin, so she's just waiting for the book.
Hmm.
But she was very quick to be like,
Also
"I
came
got my
with all the.
stuff." I was like, "I haven't got my stuff yet, and I'm in it." But like the extras were finished first, so Frankie sent out all the little extra bits and pieces to everyone while we were waiting for the comics to get printed.
Hmm.
But
So did he do all the designs for the extra bits and pieces?
no, he had some of the other artists create like the poster and the pin and stuff like that, but like he worked very closely with those artists to develop all the concept art and stuff as
Hmm.
the author. Um, but yeah, those were all the posters and the enamel pins and stuff were printed first, so they went out early so everyone could get those, especially with shipping from America being delayed at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm stoked. I can't wait for it. Probably won't be till like end of next month, start of the month after that I'll get my books because they're in a snowstorm right now.
Hmm.
Frankie posted a
Yeah.
picture yesterday of Chicago and how everything was just snowed in. He's like, I'm never going to get to finish posting these comics. So it
This
looks.
world is absolute chaos.
It is. It really is. But the best thing
Had all those
to
fires
do,
last year, and now it's big snowstorm.
right? I'm just glad that we're not on fire again this year.
Yeah.
I think,
Touch wood. Ugh.
was it? I think it was Fraser or one of the smaller islands had some fires at the start of the year.
Yes. That's all I've heard
Yeah,
from
but
big fires.
yeah, as far as I know, that's the only ones that we've had. So that was a relief. I was concerned that it was going to be not as bad, but we were going to get fires again this year because even though all the big fuel was taken care of, long dry grass has had a year to grow in the place. And if there's
Yeah.
something that spreads fire real fast, it's dry
It's
grass.
that. I think they've learned how to, well, not learned, but they've taken care of it well this year,
Yeah, I
hopefully,
think
I
so
think.
too. It's been a relief.
Mm.
Awesome. Well, if you haven't been convinced to read the book yet, I'm just gonna just go read the book because it's really good. Um, I can see myself after I finish my work today sitting down to read the rest of the whole series tonight.
Yes. You better come scream at me about
Oh
it.
no, I will as soon as I finish writing. I'll probably after every issue I'll be texting you going, "Hey, so this the
What does
thing
this mean?
the thing that I thought happened was actually something else or was the
Yeah.
thing."
Uh,
But I
I'm
could tell you
excited for
right
that.
now, if my theory is correct, you will hear about it real quick.
Which theory? The one with
The one relating to Norton and what the stuff that he can't remember.
mm-hmm.
I have theories about that. I have
Well,
a
it's a
feeling
good
that
theory.
I have a feeling I'm going to be wrong. But
Well, we'll find out.
yeah, I'll find out tonight. And I'm not going to tell you just in case I can read your facial expression and spoil it for myself.
Okay. All right. We'll put on my poker face anyway.
Yeah, I'll text it to you after the show.
Okay, cool,
And
cool,
then
cool.
once I've read it, I'll let you know.
Awesome. That sounds good. But yeah, no,
Um,
check out this comic if people haven't. And like, I was saying to you earlier, I think the first issue is free right now on Comixology,
Yeah,
so you can get a taste of it.
I think it is. And I mean, the first issue is free, and if you like that, the first volume is half price right now. It's $4.
Mm.
Let me just double check the single issues and make sure that it is still free. It usually is. Yes, it is.
I'm pretty sure the big bundle is $30 all up as well, and that's 27 issues.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, it's $25 right now. It's on sale, 30% off.
There you go. So highly recommend.
Yeah, no, it's
And
a
it sounds like a pretty small series, but a lot happens, and the pacing
yeah,
is done very well, and the art's amazing. It's a very good read.
yeah. No, I'm really enjoying it. I recommend it to everyone. If you've read Sweet Tooth, you'll enjoy it. If you've read Jeff's Old Man Logan run, you'll enjoy it. If you've read his Green Arrow run, you'll enjoy it. Um, it's a really interesting book. It's a lot to it. It's very suspenseful, and the art is really interesting. Um, and I think it's perfect for this story too. Like I said, it's got
Mm.
similar vibes, but actually is completely different to the art from Outcast. If you know, like
Yeah,
I,
similar vibes.
yeah, I when I looked at it to double check whether it was the same person, I was like, oh no, this is not the same at all. But then it's the sort of slightly more muted color palettes and heavy use of shadow and contrast.
Mm,
It brings the vibe.
definitely. It kind of takes different pieces from a lot of things and makes it its own thing.
yeah, yeah, no, it really does. Um, yeah, completely different art styles, very similar vibes in terms of the feel of the story. So if you have read Outcast and like that, you'll like this, or if you read this and like it, you'll also like Outcast. I definitely recommend reading both of them. Outcast is almost finished. It's actually a pretty long running series. So I'm keen to find out what happens in the end in that too. So, where can everyone find you, Amy?
Um, you can find me on Twitter, Amee Woods. My name's right there, or under Wamai, which is Wamaii. That's my main source. I've got lots of links from there.
Cool, cool. And those links are in the chat, and if you're watching on YouTube, they will be below in the description. Um, Amy's webcomic is also in the description below and in the chat if you're watching this live. So just scroll up a little bit and you will find it. And obviously, you can find me at Brainbeast Studios on all social media. If you like my comics, you like the show, you like talking about comics, if you like my RPG content or just like tabletop gaming and want to talk about it, you can join my Discord and get to know my community who are also big comics nerds and big tabletop gaming nerds. And there's also a lot of art resources and stuff like that in it. Speaking of which, if I haven't already, let me know and I'll send you a link to the Australian Illustrators Discord.
Ooh.
Because I set that up and I can't remember if I have sent it to you. And that's in the chat. If you're an
Okay.
Australian illustrator and you want to hang out with other Australian illustrators and get access to tips and tricks and tutorials and tools and software to make your life easier, and just cross promote and hang out with people, that is there. And we're trying to organize some bigger community events and stuff this year. Looking forward to doing some mutual canvas art jams.
Ooh.
um, Michael, actually, when we did our episode of No Capes, showed me this uh, online app where you can just everyone can just log into the same room and draw on one canvas.
Oh, what app is it though?
I can't remember. I have to find it. But he says he
Okay.
uses it for a lot of his like online Twitch jams.
Because I
Um,
know there's some iffy ones out there.
this one, he recommended this one, and he's a professional comics creator, so I
Okay,
think
okay,
it's a
cool.
decent one. I know there are some crappy ones out there. But yeah, no, he is he working on the WWE comics at the moment, I think?
Oh yeah.
And I think he worked on some of the Street Fighter Udon comics as well.
Some good anatomy
Yeah,
there.
he's got some really good stuff. I really dig his work, and really nice guy too. I had a really good chat to him about that comic. But yeah, looking forward to doing some of that soon. We were going to try to start it last month, but timetables with everyone didn't really work out because not everyone does work from home, and some people have to go to the office during work hours, which is when I'm streaming.
hmm That was our problem last time, wasn't it? I had
Yeah,
work
yeah,
for
yeah.
now.
Yep. But I'm really glad that we were finally able to schedule it up for this season, especially now that I got things fine tuned for the show this year. So thank
Yeah,
you
well, thanks
very
for
much.
having me on.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for being a part of the community, and I'm looking forward to following your comics as well, and seeing what
Thank you.
comes for the rest of this year, and obviously ahead. But I try to take it one year at a time right now.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do.
Exactly. And I'm about to roll the Shifting Spire trailer as well. The grand prize
Ooh.
reveal. So for anyone who hasn't seen that yet, stick around. You're going to see what all of our winners are going to receive for finishing the tower. But I have been Sean Sunday. This has been Amee Woods, and this has been No Capes. Thanks for joining us. Go follow Amee on social media. Go check out Jeff and the rest of the team on Gideon Falls on social media. And tune in tomorrow night at 5 p.m. on this channel for my nervous ass doing my first episode of my first ongoing D&D show. It's the biggest project I've ever undertaken. We'll see what happens.
You'll be great. It'll be great.
Now let me find this video and we'll roll that. And that will be us for today. Thank you very much for joining us today, Amee. I really appreciate your time, and it was a really cool chat. I wish I'd been able to finish the comic before we went live so I could chat about all the theories.
All the theories asked so much, but it's fine. This was great.
No, it's been really good. I am looking forward to reading it later and coming back to you going, holy shit.
And you will.
Awesome. And okay. So until next time, everyone, this has been No Capes. Stick around for the next 40 seconds or so for the grand prize reveal. And I'll see you all tomorrow. 3, 2, 1.